So you have a global consciousness, globally aware of the macrocosmic influence and locally effective in your own world, in your own life, in your own business, in your own career, and your family and yourself. You need to add more willpower. Without willpower, it's hard to have discipline. Willpower is the parent of discipline. So no willpower, no discipline.
Hello everyone, I'm Angie Claire from the Wisdom Institute for Leadership and Global Advancement, founded by Master Del Pe, our special guest today. I am a healing specialist and mentor, and I'm especially expert in overcoming difficult situations. That's why the topic of the today interview, how to overcome uncertainty. I want to introduce you, Master Del Pe, before go to the topic. Thank you for being here. Master Del Pe is a modern sage and spiritual entrepreneur wearing many hats. Founder and CEO of three institutions, the World Institute for Incurable Diseases, the Life Institute for Higher Consciousness, and the Wisdom Institute for Leadership and Global Advancement that I already mentioned, where we work with balanced life strategies, self-care, self-development, and self-mastery strategies. It is author of 14 books, and he has mentored already and healed 5 billionaires, 2 kings from India, and celebrities, and almost 500,000 people around the world in more than 100 countries, right, Master? You
Yes.
was a big traveler, especially before. Welcome to our interview today, and thank you for your time.
Thank you, Angie. And let's talk about your most awaited topic. What's your topic?
Yes, it is about our time today, because we are in a very unpredictable and challenging times now in our world.
Mm-hmm.
So can you describe what is going on with this complexity? Thank you.
Well, we've been probably reading newspapers or listening to news or YouTube updates of bloggers or podcasters that we have almost a World War III in the horizon. We have the global economy being challenged between the multilateral world, like the BRICS, which are the new group, which is Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. And we have also the Western Hemisphere economy led by the United States, called the dollar economy. So you can see that there's not one polar world now, is multipolar world. So there's a lot of rivalry between alliances of countries, and it's increasing the tension in the world stage. We have also the post-pandemic and the pandemic that rattled the world of business and humanity, which still allowing people to recover from their bankruptcy or difficulties and traumas. And we have also a lot of wars here and there between factions, between alliances, and between the woke or the new culture of humanity and the non-woke culture. So you see that the humanity has been so divided. We are more divided now than before. So we call the VUCA world, where VUCA, V is a volatility, which is like anything can erupt right now. Uncertainty and unpredictability of life, which is we have this economy that is shaky and like you cannot predict easily the global economy right now. And we have also complexity, very complex, not just complicated, complex, meaning to say there are more unknowns than knowns. And there's so many information that we cannot digest because they are new and ongoing, and even the AI and the ChatGPT or any AI program cannot catch, because it's a lot of new things happening as we speak. And we have also the ambiguity of situations because of the uncertainties, a lot of things that cannot be controlled. So these things had given us a predicament of high stress and a lot of tension, anger, if you don't understand and control situations, and even a threat to our physical life, personal life, emotional life, and mental life, and so many complexity.
Yes, Master. And what I can observe also is all these emotions coming up like volcanoes. And
Mhm.
there is no difference in the different roles of society for entrepreneurs, leaders, everywhere. There is this increasing emotional magma coming up. So I want just to ask you why we are facing these difficulties.
I agree. The stress is higher than now. We have more and more incurable diseases, and a lot of people are going into elderly stage with so much complex situations like Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, and dementia, senile decay, all kinds of accelerated aging, even in the 40-year-olds, 50-year-olds, because there's now a lot of hypertension, heart disease, cancer. So in terms of the health world, we have so much challenges now with higher stress and also a lot of poisonous chemicals around us. We are subjected with more tension in our immune system, fighting chemicals and toxic substances. Plus, we have more difficulty earning and for living. So it's like you have to work harder to get the same money as before because of our inflation and because a lot of the competitive spirit of business now is more or less threatened by the global upheavals. So in terms of financial stress is high, health stress is high, social stress because all this bad news about the wars in Ukraine, wars in Middle East, wars in the Southeast Asia like Taiwan, China, and the United States, and also a lot of wars in Ethiopia and Sudan, and other places in Africa. So there's a lot of wars happening as we speak. So the stress in humanity, not just one culture. Even though we are far from the wars, the stress is spread out globally through the human energy and the world energy. So you cannot just be separated by people at war and you are not at war. The energy is spreading more rapidly, especially we are plugged in into our online social media. We see everything. And news, of course, are making money by sensationalizing things. They make big things out of small news. So that's their business also. So this is happening right now. And so we need to get prepared a different way. We need new tools that are stronger than before. We need to be more creatively adaptive, versatile, flexible, and smarter than before.
Thank you. Yes, I agree, and I also observe and feel also that. Because also, if I live now in a very quiet area, I can feel the tension in people. Even in going in more crowd area like big cities, it is even worse than staying in countryside area. And going to the solution, the
Mhm.
formula to become more adaptable and to adapt our system to the new conditions to sustain our growth, our business, our lives is the same for individual or for corporates and society.
Well, corporations, organizations, countries are made of people. So the first test is leadership. Maybe around 60% of the success and failure of any organization, country, a family, or individual is on the leadership. So during good times, you can have a good leader and using your network and what you learn from school and things, it will work to solve problems and crises because crises are not as big and as not globally impacted. Now, you need to do a different way. You need to upgrade your skills to deal with bigger macrocosmic causes. It's not just your local problem of your company or your family. It is now being threatened by the macrocosmic and global negativity. The crisis at the global level is affecting individual families and your pocket and your shopping, your inflation. Everything is now affected by the global scale problems. So you need to prepare in a different way, to be smarter, to be able to forecast and anticipate what else can happen in the world that affects your money and your income and your survivability. So you need to be able to use the global approach, global, globally aware of what's going on. So you see the macrocosmic influence on you in your own house, in your own family, in your own work, and your own business. At the same time, you have to be locally strategic and tactical to respond, to be effective locally. Because if you were in Israel and in Palestine, the effect on you locally is very immediate. But if you're in Italy and there's no war in Italy, but the war is in Middle East or in Ukraine, the local is a little bit different from the war zone. So you know that there's a war in different countries which affects the economy and can be nuclear or it can be a World War III that is explosive. But locally, you have still to adapt in how to survive locally, how to make sure that your business will grow, how to make sure that you are able to understand your employees if you are employer, and also how to get a group of like-minded people so that you can have a preparation in case something big will happen. So you have a global consciousness, globally aware of the macrocosmic influence and locally effective in your own world, in your own life, in your own business, in your own career, and your family and yourself. So you need to prepare. Now, in good times, you can hope for the best and then prepare for the worst. And when you don't have money and you fail, you can go to your friend, your family, and the bank and to continue your business. But in bad times, there's more complication because most people won't have the money. People are very frugal about money. They don't want to lend to anyone. Banks are very strict to lend money during complexity. So you cannot just go to your friend or family to ask for money. So you have to prepare for the worst, then you can hope for the best in bad times. It's a different formula. And you have to be more handy. You roll your sleep and work. You have to dirty your hands also to work. In bad times, you just delegate everything and you're the boss. In bad times, you need to work harder, smarter, more focused. Instead of working for 8 hours a day only, you may work 12 hours a day because numbers of hours still make a big difference between you and your competitor who's working for 8 hours and having a good time and not focus. You have to focus. You have to be hungry to make it work. Plus, you need to have more hours of work and dirty your hands to make sure that you are in control of your work and situation. You need to add more willpower. Without willpower, it's hard to have discipline. Willpower is the parent of discipline. So no willpower, no discipline. So discipline, you need to focus a lot and action a lot. Focus, action. Focus, effort. This is called discipline. Most people can be thinking, meeting and blah, 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 too much walk, too much talking, no action. In good times, that might work because somebody will do your work. In bad times, sometimes you need to remove some of your workers because you cannot afford to pay them anymore. You need to shrink your company to be more economical. And also, you need to really stay focused with more will and power. So you need to increase your stamina through exercise, through techniques of breathing, oxygenation, and certain techniques of rituals that increase your willpower and focus. Your mind has to be focused and clear so that you don't make big mistakes in decision-making. You cannot afford to make big mistakes because they are expensive, they're time-consuming to repair, and if in bad times, there's no time because everything is hurry and sense of urgency, and you cannot afford to make big mistakes. That's why you should be smarter. You should really pay attention to all the details. In bad times, you have to be thorough, you have to be meticulous, you have to be in control, in charge if you can. Where you can take charge, you take charge. Where you cannot take charge, you let go because you cannot do anything anymore. So you need to know where you can control. It's not just how to make money, where to make money, who will help you make money. That is not anymore the question. Even you know how to make money, if you don't have the will to continue and be hungry to keep on grabbing the opportunity, it will not make you prosperous anymore. You need to put another formula called the willpower, consistency, persistency, determination, a lot of focus, and you need to remove things that are not important anymore. The time robbers, time wasters, time interrupters, people who are not good for your business, you need to move away from them and make sure that you only maintain the top maybe 20% of your people who produce 80% of your results. You need to take care of these people because you cannot afford for them to go to your competitor and apply another job if you lower their salary. The 20% usually produce 80% of your results. And the top 3 people in your company or in your life is the one that you cannot lose them. They're very important because they are your 3% pillars. You have to maintain them, be nice to them, you have to help them, make sure that you don't lose the 3%, because the 3% is the people who you cannot replace. in your life, in your work, in your career or business. The 20% is so important because they are your champions. The 3% are your superheroes. You need to identify them ahead of time and make sure that 3% is taken care by you at all costs. You cannot afford to lose them. That 20% of your people in your life, that's the one that can make you productive and output is high because you have the champions. And lastly is you need to know how to materialize. Materialize by using not only the law of attraction, there's also the law of repulsion. What not to do to push prosperity and money and good luck. The law of willpower, how to sustain your willpower and your stamina so that you can keep on going and working for 12 hours or 14 hours, because sometimes you need these in difficult time. In good times, 8 hours maybe is okay, and you drink and you don't sleep, it's okay. In bad times, you are making things work, and a lot of people are grabbing your business, grabbing your clients. So you need to be so attentive that you cannot lose focus. And sometimes 7 days a week is maybe important during difficult times, not 5 days a week work. And another thing is to be able to increase your knowledge about your skill sets to use to be very competitive. So you have to be smarter. You study a lot on how to be number one, how to be a great, successful person in your line of expertise or industry. Secondly is you have to involve a mentor or a life coach. Why? Because you can make big mistakes that are so expensive that can make you fail. With a life coach, a life mentor, it will make you see things that you do not see yourself alone or with normal consultants. Your blind spot, your unseen common mistakes are not easy to see because they are hidden, like the blind spot when you drive. You need somebody to tell that, okay, this is where you will fail. Be careful with this. Don't do that, because if you do this, it will pull you down and it's hard to recover. So you need a life mentor, a life coach, or somebody who is gonna look at things you cannot see, and not your consultants, who your consultants cannot see also. So, and also be an expert or increase your skill sets in anything you want to be number one. You need to be better than your competitor. So you have to study a lot, learn a lot, get more educated in your skill sets, not necessarily in college anymore. In workshops or in mentoring, you need to really know what to do next ahead of your competitor. You need to learn how to use intuition. You know, learn how to use your forecasting intelligence to see what is there that they don't see, and you are seeing ahead of everyone. Then you can be a pioneer and you will be always ahead of your life and your industry. That's what I would, and of course, save. Do not now spend so much things and making yourself looking good. Whether you look good or not, if there's no money, there's no money. So be humble, because if you're humble, you don't have to be arrogant to spend so much money showing off your Ferrari and Lamborghini. This time, you need to be humble, because if you're humble, you don't have to spend too much. Second, I think would have to get the manifestation technique, the 5 laws of manifestation. So these are things that we can provide. My institute, the Wisdom Institute for Leadership and Global Advancement, has a curriculum of self-development that focus on the 5 laws to manifest all things that you want, which are not with a negative karma or bad luck. So that is easy for manifestation, but how to manifest only things that doesn't have a boomerang effect or negative karma or what called bad luck. So you need to learn these things. And these are the things we can do with mentoring and improving your life path and focus. And this willpower technique that you can learn through my website, masterdelpa.com. There are things you can download called willpower development, how to increase your willpower, your stamina, your focus. And these are tools that you need in difficult times, for sure. No willpower, no discipline, hard to compete in a difficult world.
About what you already mentioned, there is also the love of timing, the right timing. What I'm noting, especially now in more challenging times, if I don't use properly the love of time, the right timing on doing things, I immediately receive the boomerang effect. And it is another thing that if you can talk a little bit about this, thank you.
Okay, there's such thing as the 7 life cycles or seasons of life, that there's a timing to do the most important things in life. So there are 7 cycles in a year, 52 days calibration, like the seasons of, if it was 4 seasons, you have the spring, the summer, the autumn, and winter. That's 4 seasons in North America and Italy. But in one's life, I see that there are 7 calibrations that you can do different things for each segment. There's also 2 times a year that negative energy and bad luck appears, like between your birthday to birthday. In the middle is when negative things happen usually every year, and before your birthday, around 3 weeks to your birthday and even 1 week after your birthday. These are the times that I really mentor a lot of people, business people. They usually make big mistakes during these times, and also they close deals that are very important deals, but with blunders. So these things I usually mentor people what to avoid, when to avoid them, and what to do in different times of the year that your good luck arrives. Like after your birthday, around 2 weeks to 3 weeks after your birthday is the best time to plant. It's like a springtime. Whatever you plant tends to grow. If you plant during winter, even you're a good farmer, it won't grow. So before your birthday is like the winter time. If you do even great things with all your effort and all your intelligence, when you have this destruction phase called the last cycle, it's not easy to maintain your business or your career or relationship if you were married before your birthday. So there are things that we can learn from my institute. And these are also online, so you can always attend this online workshop. They're only like 5 hours, and you have a facilitator to help compute and chart those times of your life. And there's also the 7 years cycle, where when you are, say, 35, you have the power time. When you are 41 to 42, that is the destruction time, the 7 cycles. And when you're 45, that's a difficult time. And even women, you tend to have the menopausal syndrome or diagnosed with cancer or other diseases during these years. That's why there's a big shift in 45 to 46 year, even in men. That midlife crisis, it's in that, because that is the 4th cycle, which is a destruction cycle with emotional upheavals and difficulties. And 48, 49 is a difficult time. Usually people have legal cases at the time from nowhere and have difficult diseases to heal and a lot of complications in terms of relationship or even in money and careers. So if you know these times, like a winter versus spring and summer, then you can regulate your development and your success by not doing things against the law of time. So these are things that I have discovered. I've taught this in Sony Corporation in New York. I've taught this I've used it in billionaires when they are buying and acquiring companies. I guide them with when is the best time to buy and sell companies or stocks or anything. Anyway, I'd like to mention also that there is always a big crisis that happens within 7 years. It's called the crisis of karma on 4th cycle, which is, I said, 45 to 46, or even 31 to 32, or 24 to 25, or in children, from 17 to 18 is a 4th cycle. It's a difficult time for teenagers, and even 13 to 14. And 6 to 7-year-old kids, these are difficult time. Or if you're 55 going to 56, these are difficult times. Okay, even your parents who are going from 69 to 70 or 76 to 77, these are the difficult times for seniors and elderly. So when we can predict the most challenging time in one's life, you can manage your personal crisis, not the world crisis, because that is the time that your world, your life has challenges. You have unpredictability, complexity, and ambiguity and volatility during these 2 times of your years, of 7 years, and also during the 4th and 7th cycle during the whole year. Okay, so if we know these things, it's better to know than not to know. Even you don't believe it, if you observe your chart, when we chart these things, you would say that, wow, it's a little bit more accurate than I thought, A lot of people who were married on their 4th cycle and before their birthday have difficulty maintaining a relationship, leading to separation or divorce. Or if they conceive children on their times, their negative things usually transfer to the children. So the children tends to become more sickly or difficult towards them. So these are also used in parenting, in business, in acquiring businesses, in putting up a business, in relocating to another town or city, best time to move, best time to get married. And also, there's a cycle of the presidents of each country that affects the country. So when I compute the cycles of Donald Trump, he is in a good cycle right now. He's in a business cycle and a victorious cycle. He's a third cycle, which is also he's a business entrepreneur, not only a politician. And he is on his third cycle, so he's like a winning edge. So that's what I see. And I can plot also Xi Jinping, Putin, and many leaders in the world. And I see the country's Independence Day can be plotted also. And you can see that there are many times that you don't want to do business in that country because they are in a destruction phase. You see? So you can use it in a macrocosmic decision-making or in a personal microcosmic decision-making.
Yes, I found it this possibility to cross the different cycles. When you want to run a business in a country, you have to take care also about the country cycles to match the best time for all the stakeholders. But the country also is one of them because it's a living being, right?
Yes, and also if you have a business partner, Angie, you and your business partner should compute your chart so that the cycle of both will be in a positive cycle, not in a negative cycle.
Yes. Yes, I found it is an exciting course because it is also immediate for everyone to learn this, different from the healing science, because this is something that we didn't mention it yet, but I want to invite you to talk about that because when we need to become superwoman and superman for facing these difficult times, we need also health, different level of health, physical, emotional, mental, vital health, and also spiritual in the relationship, and also our financial health, right? So you are so famous in the world for that because you are an healing science. You create this system that bring strict results in everything. So that's why you founded the World Institute for Incurable Disease, not just any disease. So we can face, thanking your training, something that in the traditional medical knowledge is still unknown. So can you please talk about that? Because we can really offer something so precious. You in the world are known also as miraculous healer, but it is because there are some healing coming up that are result that no one can expect in any kind of traditional treatment.
Yeah, there are many methods to cure your diseases or heal your life. See, you can heal your life, not just heal your disease. Curing is very specific to a disease. You need to have a symptom and a damage in the organs before the doctor would announce that you need medication or surgery. In healing, you can prevent having a surgery because you can heal the causes of the consequence, which is maybe cancer or liver problem or diabetes or dementia or Alzheimer's. So in our system that I put up, we can X-ray your energy and detect the problem before it becomes worse. So when I look at a person and there's already an energetic condition in the brain that can cause stroke, aneurysm, or explosion, hemorrhagic stroke or ischemic stroke in the brain, then I already remove those potential problems in the brain, in the arteries, either right or left, or in the speech centers is gotten blocked, then I can do that before it gets worse. In normal cases, that has to explode or have a thrombosis for the doctor to see that you have a big problem now until you feel like you are paralyzed and you cannot talk. So we heal ahead of time, not just correctively, but preventively. There's a difference between my system, the healing science, than just curing science. In curing science, you have to have the disease to cure. It's like having the police has to see that somebody killed somebody to take the criminal. Here, you prevent the crime before it happens, something like that. Okay, another thing is there are energetic imbalances in one's mind that makes you confused or have a lot of doubts and negative thoughts. That cannot just be cured in the brain. The brain is not the mind. You need to heal the mind, and then the brain will behave. If you cure only the brain, but the mind is still dark, the person might not have a brain damage, but the mind is still twisted, negative. by giving medication to the brain does not make your negative thought disappear, because they are not the same, you see. Otherwise, medication cannot remove your obsession. If you have obsession, compulsion, even you medicate the symptoms that you don't have anymore, like washing your hands, you still have a lot of issues in your mind that is always happening. You cannot sleep, even if you don't wash your hands anymore. So I have many patients who are Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, dementia, senile decay, a lot of people who are post-stroke, who are paralyzed and cannot talk, cannot listen, because the part of the brain is not able to communicate languages or perform financial computations. So this is a dangerous world today, because we have to be 60-year-old before you're starting to go for the doctor's exams. What if I give you a technique to prevent you from having blockage in your brain and releasing your mental blockage in your thought patterns, in your habits of emotions and anger and fear and stress, so that it does not manifest as a heart condition, a stroke condition, dementia, Parkinson's, Alzheimer's, and all kinds of complexity when you grow older. So we need to have a healing science and combined with medical science to work hand in hand so that the results are preventive healing and corrective with surgery or medication if required. So I do not go against traditional medicine, because if you have a toothache, you still have to go to the dentist. You have to get the root canal. If you have a big wound, you still have to go to the surgery to stitch it. If your appendix explodes, you still have to go to the hospital, not to the healer. You can do both. If you do not take the right nutrition and the right food, you still have problems with cholesterol, arteriosclerosis, all kinds of complications in your circulatory problems. So what we are proposing is the new humanity will be focusing on healing the healthy people. To prolong life is different from heal and make you well. Making you well is short term, only today, tomorrow, the next week, the next month. Longevity is I'm exercising today, I'm eating right today, I'm massaging myself today, I'm preventing myself from not having bad food because I want to live longer, because if I work so hard, I have the money and success, but I cannot hear what you're talking because I lost my hearing in a stroke. I cannot talk to you anymore because I have a stroke. What is the use of working so hard when you're young and you will not enjoy your money at the end because you spend it all in medication, or is just going to the doctor every week or psychiatrist for every week? So I propose that humanity can do two parallel works, the medical science and the healing science. And the third one is mentoring. So the art and science of mentoring and coaching is so important, because the doctor does not mentor you. The psychiatrist does not mentor you. The psychologist will hear all your problems that doesn't mentor you. The healer does not always mentor you. The masseur does not mentor you. The chiropractic does not mentor you. The osteopath does not mentor you. The acupuncturist does not mentor you. Mentoring is about the psychological aspect of life, the mental, the spiritual, the psycho-spiritual, the emotional part of you that is bigger than your physical. Because you have 5 levels of health. Your physical health is what the doctors are expert. Your energy health, your fitness, your exercises, your yoga, meditation, your sports, athletics, take care of your stamina and willpower. Your emotional health, you need to take care of your health if nobody else. You need to manage your anger. Otherwise, if you're out of control, you need to do psychological counseling, or you go for a healer to remove your anger, your rage through a meditation or healing techniques. And you need to mature your emotions, not only to be sweet, but to be strong emotionally. So that can be trained in our system. Emotional intelligence is not just being loving and sweet and hugging people. You need to be able to stand the pressure of time and be determined, whatever happens to your life. If you get betrayed, if you get molested, you still have to come up and say, I need to live my life, and this person should not destroy my life because he is only 1 out of 8 billion people, and I need to keep on going. I need to live my life, not live this person's life. Then you have to have your mental health. The mind has to be clear all the time and grow, and you grow your career, grow your intellect, grow your knowledge. You have to become lucid and clear as you grow older. It's not good to have all the money and you forget you have the money when you're 60 Or you forgot the name of your loved ones, your spouse. Or you forgot what happened to you before. You don't have any more good remembrance. Because sometimes you switch off in your brain and your mind. And then you have your spiritual health, which is your values, your dignity, your integrity, your spirituality, your connection to your divinity, your alignment with principles and virtues. These are to be checked. In the new humanity, these needs to be checked. So the doctor takes care of your physical body, the mentor and the spiritual teacher and the coach will take care of the four. See? So you are only think that I'm healthy because the doctor told me so, and my x-ray, my ultrasound, my MRI, my PET scan, my CT scans are correct and good. That is only physical. Hardware. You need to take care of the softwares. Your mind is the software, your emotions is your emotional software, but your spirituality is the source of your mainframe, the information of your life, your download of knowledge from the past and so on. So you need to pay attention that it is not enough to be good in your blood test, your stool test, urine test. How about your emotional life? How about your heart? Is it broken? Is your mind twisted? Is the mind starting to forget things when you want to remember? I have somebody in Silicon Valley who was a genius, who was one of the billionaires there who came from Asia. I was talking to him and he kept on repeating the same question I answer. And I said, there's a dementia. And then he started to laugh if I ask a question because he doesn't have much communication reasoning. So I said, okay, this person is in a high stage of dementia. Even I was not diagnosing him, but in my mind, I know because I've been healing dementia and Parkinson's and Alzheimer's. They get to, as you say something, they forget the answer and then they ask you the same question. And last night, I was healing a person with OCD with dementia. I was telling her how to do breathing, how to sleep and stimulate your melatonin and your pineal gland. I explained it already. And then she repeated, what else can I do to sleep better? I said this again. And then after that, in what way can I sleep better? So I said, it's not just OCD or obsessive compulsive disorder. He has also dementia with it. See, so I said, and these are rich people and geniuses. And I said, I don't want to go to that path when I'm older. I want to have the same tastes. If you're Italian, you need to taste your food. If you are Brazilian, you need to have sense of touch. If you are American, you need to have a visual to see a movie. If you are a spiritual person, you need to have that internal sense. And you need to be able to hear, to smell, to taste, to feel the touch, and to feel your heart, and to still think, and to have intuition to know what to do. These are so important in the total health quotient that the World Institute for Incurable Diseases, which I've put up, to be able to bring a spiritual science into this healing system, to be able to preserve your life in all these total health levels so that you do not measure only your blood pressure or your blood test. You have to be aware of your emotional test, your mental test, your spiritual test, your social life test, and your whole being should be healed, not just your body. And this is the principle that I have been propagating. That's why I'm putting up the longevity centers and healing centers in the Philippines, in the mountain region with hot springs, waterfalls, fresh air, to practice all of these and educate people so that they can take home these techniques and use them every day, every week, every month, so they can live longer and reverse their aging. At the same time, extend their youthful life. And I have many techniques that are very physical, like how to exercise your toes so that you have balance. Because most people die not because of memory loss only. When they are not strong with the toes to the feet, they get imbalanced, they hit their head, and they're starting to have dementia, or they started to be forgetful after being hit, or they have fractures. The hip fractures when you fall, when you're older. There are more observation that people with fractures after they grow old will die sooner than people with no fractures. Especially if you're diabetic, if you have no more healing speed and so on. So by giving you only the exercise of how to increase the power of your soles of the feet to be grounded, your toes to be sure, because when you stoop like this, it is your toes that doesn't make you fall. But if your toes are very inflexible and not anymore dexterity, when you do like this, you fall and you hit your head, from there on, you started to forget things when you're 65 or 70 years old. So by just exercising your toes, being barefooted in the soil, making sure that your toes are strong. When you do like this, you do not fall. When you do like this, it will hold you. Try standing and you lean around 6 inches. If you can do that, then your toes are strong. But when you lean forward and your toes is not strong, you go like this. So by just knowing what to do with your walking, not to use very comfortable shoes, but shoes that have wide toes compartment so that the toes can play. You can fold the shoes so that your dexterity will be functional. Because if you have a very improvised shoes, which is very comfortable, the sensors of your feet does not bring signal to the brain how to adjust your hips and knee when you walk. Because you're walking with the shoes and the shoes is correcting everything, which is not good. If you walk barefooted, there's a sensor in your foot that tells your brain, move to the right, move to the left, walk slower, walk faster. Your hips is too stiff, your knee is too stiff, because the sensors gives a feedback to the brain. If you have a very expensive shoes that is everything is balanced, I think when you're older, you will lose balance when you're not with the shoes. So these things are very important. It's simple. And how to ground your feet so that you are so strong even you're old and get the earth energy, not only the air energy, not only the sun energy. So there's a lot of this longevity formula that I have researched around the world, looking at the life of super centenarians, people who live more than 110 years and still active without medication. I have a book on that called The Highest Science on Longevity, and this is so important to report to you how they live and what are the 7 secrets that are common to all of them. Well, we have Sardinia, we have also Ogime, Okinawa, Vilcabamba, Ecuador, Hunza Valley of Pakistan, Caucasian Mountain, and part of Spain. But these are only centenarians, 100 years old. What I'm talking about are 110-year-old, alive and walking and still gardening. They are always barefooted most of the day. They have gardens to put their feet, and their feet is still touching the earth with the sensors of the feet adjusting their hips and their knee when they walk. So I didn't want to forget that answer, Angie.
Yeah, Master. And you brought this new paradigm that people need to get, because generally people aging become less functional, more lazy, and it starts the curve on going down. But even for me, when I arrived at 55 years, I said, oh my God, this sequence that you created, 15 minutes exercise, breathing technique, energizing our vital energy, recharging the battery, is really wow. It care about 360-degree health in prevention, longevity, being young at every level, because when energy circulates, we can feel the sense of I can do, I can create, I can. It is not because someone stopped the job, I have to retire from life or something else. So more we go ahead in our life, we become even more courageous, because there is more wisdom, there are more solutions that we can bring to society. So it is important we continue to be functional, not just for us, but also for serving other people. So I want to thank you for that, because it's really so easy to learn. People can even download from your website, masterdelpe.com, and immediately start receiving immediate benefits. Those are some of the unique things that I found in you: practical solution, self-practical tools, not just only the need to stay with someone caring about you all the time, even if it is so important, because even for me, when I arrive to my karmic cycle, the 4th and 7th in the year, generally I ask for a healing, preventing this purifying phase in my life, to make it more smoothie, to live better, instead of facing the challenge that I have to face because of the time. So really, healing healthy people is the best formula for the new humanity, really. And
Yeah.
yes, I also want to ask you, about mentor, because even mentor is not so clear in our culture. How can we find the right mentor to avoid a lot of mistakes and having someone that can face 360-degree aspect of our life?
See, there are four quadrants of agreement or disagreement. The first quadrant, if you divide it four, is what you know and others know. That's common sense. Everyone is okay there. No conflict, and you can handle it. The second quadrant is you know, others do not know. So there's like a facade where people are conflicting with you because you know the secret, but they don't know that you know. So that's another conflict point. The third is you don't know, but others know about your attitude, maybe stubborn or negative, but you think it's okay. Others said it's not okay. The fourth quadrant is you don't know, others don't know, but your higher mentor knows because they can see you on a higher scale than yourself. So in those aspects, where you have a blind spot or hidden negative blunders, you need a mentor to prevent you from making those mistakes with wrong information, wrong assumptions, and wrong decisions can cost you a lot of money and time and sufferings. So you need a mentor where most people do not know and you don't know. That is one. Also, a mentor is somebody who can give you some other choices that are not common sense choices. Because in decision making, we always take the first choice that comes to us and we think, I have the solution. But that's the first solution that came to you is not, there's no comparison of other choices. And most people make a mistake when there's a crisis. The first solution is what they get, even though it's not the best. Why? Because they want the easy way out, convenience, and maybe cheaper. But sometimes the cheaper solutions or the immediate solutions that are not well designed can create another problem. And so you have one crisis and one problem after that. So the mentor can give you some questioning, some insight and hints that you don't see and your consultants in business do not see, but they can sense that something is off in this. It's not just about the money, it's about your karma behind the decision. So they will give you the conscience if you don't have the sense of your emotions and you don't feel anything wrong. The mentor can be your conscience if you still have not developed your heart. Or if you have not developed your intuition or your ability to forecast the future, to see ahead, your mentor can do that job to see these are the consequences of your decision now. If you do not change this, this will be the consequence. If this is your decision, this will be the consequence. So he will give you hints on what you do not see ahead. Because your mentor has more experience and more wisdom, they can see ahead the consequences of everything we do here or we have done in the past. And also the mentor tends to be wiser, more advanced in mind, in heart, and in soul. So they can be a bigger GPS for you that sees ahead where you only see the ground. Like the taxi driver can see the traffic in front of the car. The pilot can see why is the traffic happening, where is the problem, is it far or not far. So now you can see that to see ahead, you need intuition. You need the ability to see bigger pictures. And if you are not yet mature and wise, you need somebody who has that faculty to avoid expensive mistakes and troubles in your life or sufferings caused by big mistakes. So that is the job of a mentor. Even the top billionaires, I have been mentoring a few billionaires and healing them. I have 5 of them and 2 kings of India and celebrities around the world. I know that they are very good in doing what they know, but how much of the other things in life do they know and do not know? So that's called the blind spot. Remember, there are geniuses that I've mentored who are Harvard graduates, they're top of their lines, but they're only good in finance and marketing. Relationship, they are not educated, and there's no master in relationship, there's no masters in marriage. So they fail in marriage, but they succeed as a billionaire. But in terms of skill sets, there's not much sometimes refinement because they become rich immediately by technology and science and apps. So they become rich without refinement. So they have to slow down again to refine their character so that they will be accepted by a certain class. Because they belong here and they become rich and then they don't know how to deal with this. So refinement, wisdom, the power of presence, these are things that we need to give as hints, insights, or principles to the mentee or whoever is the coachee, if you're being coached. Another thing is to grow your soul and your consciousness, you need somebody who has done it before. See, if you want to cross a very strong river and you have an Olympian who is a good swimmer, I'd rather have an old guy who has crossed the river a few times to guide me than an Olympian who is a good swimmer. That's only in the swimming pool. To cross the river, you need somebody who has been doing it for years and years. Even an old guy, I will go to the old guy than an Olympian young guy, you see? So that maturity and being wise and being mature, the dignity of the mentor is so important to align, because if you are misaligned, you need somebody to align you. If you go to a young, intelligent person who is also misaligned, they're just intelligent, and you're misaligned, both of you will fall together. So sometimes you need somebody with more wisdom, more maturity. If you cannot get from your parent and your uncles, at least somebody outside your family who will be your mentor for hire. Sometimes you get to save a lot of money by not making mistakes. How can you not pay and invest in that person? They're more difficult to hire than fitness coach. If you need fitness coach to go a step up, step down, curl, that's very physical. You just go to YouTube and you follow it. But in the mind and the soul, you need a guide, because these are invisible life. You do not see yourself with this muscle. It's muscle of consciousness. Is a little bit more abstract. You need somebody in the abstract level to guide you to have a tour of the abstract world. So you need a wiser person, a mature person. So even billionaires, even multimillionaires, they have mentors, either in business mentoring, they have etiquette mentoring, they have social class mentoring, and their next step, they have a mentor to go to the next class. So that's why I think it's indispensable. If you want to really be seriously growing, you need a mentor. I had 4 mentors who are physical, and have inner mentors who are not physical. So imagine if I didn't have a mentor. I will not grow fast. I will not see my blind spot. I will not be able to focus much because I have so much things that I want to do in life. The mentor will direct you back to your purpose. This is the purpose that you discovered together. And so without the purpose, you will be lost in getting rich and getting famous. That's it. You die being famous and rich. Not great. You need to go from success to greatness.
For our higher purpose, that is really the light that we have to follow. So according to my experience, we can fall down, but when we know where we have to go, we can still awake again, move the second step, and move forward. And for that, in my experience, we need the higher consciousness connection, because in our higher consciousness we have the solutions, we have our higher purpose, we have the reason of our blind spots, limits, and everything, and we have also the answers. So everything is there. And also in my experience, having mentors can substitute my higher consciousness till I arrive there.
Yeah, and also, Angie, the different levels of intelligence, the 5 levels of ascending intelligence has to be part of the mentoring. You have your instinctive intelligence, like your sense, your guts. Then you have your emotional intelligence, which is using your feelings and your conscience. You have your concrete mind, your tactical intelligence to be logical, to be scientific, and to be meticulous. You have also your abstract intelligence, which is your philosophy, your psychology, your principles to guide you. And you have your intuition and wisdom and your psychic power as your spiritual intelligence. Most of the people will use their common sense when they are normal people. Common sense is what is common to everybody, which had made mistakes. So in the mainstream humanity, your purpose is just to go to work, be happy with your family, have children, retire, and enjoy life if you are not sick. Otherwise, you go to the hospital. So that's common sense for the mainstream. As you become more intelligent, with more emotional and more mental intelligence, you will want to be famous in your industry, your career. You want to be the captain of your industry, to be the best of your field of work and expertise. So you want to really become so strong mentally, and you need to study a lot. You sacrifice some parts of your family time because you want to excel. You need more time to study, to research, and to be with a network of people, and you become the leader of that network. So you have not only the common sense to determine your purpose, it is a bigger purpose based on the right intelligence, intelligent hard work. But as you become an advanced soul with more abstract mind, philosophies, principles that are more advanced with the purpose of serving humanity, the world, bigger things, beyond your family, beyond your career, beyond your community, but you go internationally to serve the world or to contribute to solutions of the world problems. So you need to network to very important people, important groups, important cultures. You go outside your country looking for the platform to launch your mission globally. As you become a saint, then you have a global mission to uplift humanity in a different way, which is not intellectual only, but become an icon of change, an icon of philosophy, and so on. Then, as you become a master, a sage, more advanced, then you need to deal with the planetary scheme, with the animal kingdom, the plant kingdom, the mineral kingdom, humanity kingdom, the invisible world, and even more advanced worlds, world within world. So your concern now is bigger than international or global. You become more planetary. You become global in the sense of bigger missions. So you see, the purpose is dynamically moving depending on what intelligence are you equipped to use to decipher and discern and decode your purpose. You have to advance your intelligence so that your purpose expands with your intelligence. Because through your intelligence, you perceive your purpose. If you have small intelligence, the purpose is small. If you expand your intuition, you will see bigger things that you want to have an ambition to help bigger things. So the purpose has no finishing line until you move your intelligence and your consciousness perceive that purpose higher and higher than before.
That's why I always say, and I think people need to really take this as the formula. We are always work in progress. We don't think we arrive to a target that is important because we see where we have to move, but then we have other bigger target to go in. So that's why the idea.
Angie, the more advanced you are, you don't have a finishing line that's fixed. The finish line is moving. You have only landmarks, milestones to achieve, goals to achieve, projects to do, missions to accomplish. But as you grow and accomplish a mission, you have another bigger things to do because you have been advanced after experiencing the first mission. There's a bigger thing to do. And then after the second mission, the finishing line move again. So the finishing line moves, but your milestones accomplishment is the one you achieve and experience. That's why we teach in the Institute the wisdom aspect, the heart aspect, and the 5 levels of intelligence has to be learned so that when you are not mainstream anymore in your intelligentsia, you go to advanced soul level where your expansion is about principles and philosophy. Then those who are more advanced souls, they can aspire to become saintly people who will expand for an international mission that is evolutionary and so on. And not only to amass the wealth and keep it to you for your next generation, is to invest the money and wealth for higher purposes, that when you live and die, you departed with something bigger than yourself. It's called a legendary life or a life of greatness.
And this is also another thing important to understand because spiritual laws, spiritual solutions are important to become concrete in life, make a better, even practical life, because they are moving according with universal laws. So the boomerang effect are positive instead of negative or casual, as in many cases in humanity, right? Before going to our last question, I have another, because you mentioned how much important is willpower. Do you want please share a little bit about the different level of power that we can develop in your schools through your programs?
Yeah, in my school, we teach the different levels of willpower. Your energy, your stamina is your energy endurance. Stamina is willpower at the energy level, where you keep on doing. You're not just strong like a bodybuilder. You have endurance to keep on going, working every day, every week, and not stopping because you have stamina. Emotional willpower is your courage, your endurance emotionally to keep on going even though it's emotionally difficult. If you are very sweet and loving, but you don't have the emotional toughness, you quit when you are betrayed. You quit when people despise you and humiliate you because you are too sensitive, your emotions are too refined without toughness. So if you are emotionally tough, whatever they do to you, you keep on going and you keep on moving despite of what they're saying. So it's not enough to be loving and sweet. You need to be not only a loving heart, but a courageous heart, a tough emotions that keeps on going. Whatever happens, you keep on going. That is so important today. And a lot of the younger people compared to their grandfathers, the baby boomers and Gen X, they tend to be easily discouraged. That's why around 98% of people today that are younger, they have problem with depression, some weaknesses of some kind, suicidal tendency, and many discouraging experiences at the workplace. So employers are having problems with the younger generation employees because they don't have that persistence and determination to continue when it is a high pressure job. And this is statistically in American survey. Now, mental toughness, the will to think and focus your mind, is sometimes called the mental discipline. It is the mental discipline that is useful to lead people to keep on going even you have a big crisis, big problems around you. You are the first person to keep on going, and everyone is complaining, everyone is stopping to work and quitting. You are still leading the company or your group or your family to really go for the future and next step progress. So mental willpower creates mental discipline, focus, and also constancy of aim, looking towards the next steps all the time. It's called persistence or tenacity. Okay? That's really important. Most people have emotional strength, but they don't have the mental strength. They get tired mentally thinking in 3 hours. Oh, I don't want to think anymore. It's too difficult. And my mind is so tired because they don't have the mental stamina. Now, the philosophical willpower is you have a principle to guide you, a philosophy that is the stronger guidelines, your rules of life to protect you from not making mistake. Like if your willpower to do the right thing, like the law of karma, you follow the law of karma and do not do this and you avoid mistakes. Do this and you progress. So if you are only focusing on that alone and strong to guide your ego to execute, then you will attain what you need without karmic repercussion or suffering. So there's a need to the abstract mental will to hold the rules and the non-negotiable principles, what you should do and what you should not do. So that is from the abstract mind over the logical mind, because the mind can be correct, but the principle is right. The rightness of life from the rules of philosophy is more advanced than the science and the objectivity here, which is only perceived at common sense or logic. Now, the spiritual will of the soul is so important if you have a big mission that is challenged by the normal world, the more common sense, mundane world, mediocre people. They always attack you if you have good things. Why? Some people just have the ability to be jealous, to have an evil's eye on your project, or to criticize you even. It's like this. You've been good for 10 years. You make one mistake, they criticize you. They don't forgive you. Do bad things for 10 years and do one good thing in 1 year, and they make you a hero. Have you seen that? It's a stupid world sometimes. I know that people have been good for 10 years and then they make one mistake and then everyone is cursing them in a bad way and on television. I know also a lot of criminals who kill so much people and they become good in 1 year and then everybody's like, wow, he's so good. Look at the 10 years of criminality. Oh, because he was an underdog, he was beaten by the parents. Even though he killed so many people and 1 year to be good, doesn't justify the person to be a saint. 10 years saintly life, 1 year mistake, the person is bad. See, that's how humanity looks sometimes. And it's so sad to see it in politics as well. And many people would have a lot of subscribers and that bad people who become 1 year good. They will get a lot of hits in the social media. The one who's been good for 10 years and one bad is not too popular. So sometimes people become bad to become good and they become more popular than bad. Good people become bad, is not popular anymore. They get cursed now. So that's why we need that strength of the soul to continue aligning ourselves to do our purpose, even though it's against the normal humanity, even though it's against common sense, even though it's against the law of majority. Because majority are less intelligent. Out of 8 billion, there's probably 1 or 2 saints or masters that are more right, but nobody knows what they're right because they are ahead of their times. Like the prophets, like Jesus, Buddha, Muhammad, they've been always killed or they've been always wanting to be assassinated because they think that they're wrong, you see, and then the street people are correct, you see, because there are more people against one. So you have to be careful when you watch news. Do not participate in the chit-chat of condemning people because of one mistake, and clapping for people who have been bad and they have one year of goodness or 1 month of being good. Like a person who smoked for 10 years. He stopped smoking and people, yes. Yeah, they clap for that type. So be careful that the law of minority is an advanced concept. The law of majority is normal, mundane, mediocre concept.
Yes, that's why we serve leaders and advance humanity, because those are the type that can change the world, not just anyone complacing anyone, making smiling anyone, because right is more important than kind and lovely.
Yeah, in the social media, if you see the million subscribers in this, there are people who are attacking other people. And they are attacking each other to be popular. And they are the most hits, you know? So if you don't have any attack victim to criticize and blah, 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 you do not become popular. If you just say about good news, about good things in life, you have very low subscription because they want the people who are very controversial, who are like, yeah, he's attacking that other guy, that other political party. He is like intelligently, surgically striking them, something like that. So they become popular. So if you want to be popular, either try to become a negative person and they will make sure that they see what you're doing, or if you were bad for some time, be good for 1 year and show that you have changed and people will clap for you. But I'm not advising you to be bad before you become good to be popular. Stay aligned, do your best, have a mentor. You don't have to be popular to be great.
Yes, yes. And there is also another important things that I think we have to mention, that is we need to remove from the victim mentality that is close to this idea that when someone is a victim and grow this idea of being a victim, all the people, oh, nice, you, what? And everyone following and loving this kind of victims. But even about violence, because we are going to the World Anti-Violence Day, also to face with that, we really need willpower, because the short formula is that power is the antidote to emotionality and victim mentality, right?
Yeah, it's also related to anxiety and fear. If you increase your willpower, anxiety goes down, fear goes down, and also your procrastination and laziness goes down. So willpower goes down, anxiety goes up, scared people have more problems. So you have to increase your willpower to be the antidote of all the negative emotions.
So don't care about like people, care about to be right, powerful, and balanced, right? So
It's just that you need to determine your higher purpose, if you can, or your good purpose for now until you find the higher one. Do not delay because you have not found the highest purpose. Do not go for highest purpose. Go for higher purpose, better than before. And then after that, you go for a higher purpose than what you achieved. It's like stage by stage. I said, the line is moving.
yes, thank you, Master. As last words, do you want to share some of your wisdom for our viewers as last message?
I think, as I said, you invest in a life coach or a life mentor that can look at your life totally, not your career, not your money, not your fame, because that can be managed by a talent manager or a financial manager. Somebody who understands your whole life, from your family life, your career life, health life, spiritual life, and your social life, so that you bundle these 5 areas of life into one life path. So when you can bundle these 5 areas of life into a life path, then you can start your life mastery, your self-mastery. But if you just want to be developed, you can take different subjects from YouTube or from the college to master skill sets, and you master your trade and industry. That's still self-development, your skill sets and attitude development. But if you want to be masterful in life that is more evolved, then you have to identify all the 5 areas of life and bundle them into a life path. Then you can move to self-mastery and life mastery. So you have to do that. Secondly, have a mentor. I repeat, there's no value replacement for having an advanced life mentor who are also your spiritual teacher, or also your healer, or your advisor in looking at the best choices in life. Not one choice, not 2 choices, but the bigger choice for your whole life. If you make a manifestation, do not just manifest good for 1 year, but bad for 10 years. It's not good. It's counterproductive. You have to see that what is good now should be continuously good for you, and do not go and engage in a good for 1 year and bad for 10 years. That is bad for you if you have made money for 1 year and then you have a legal case for 10 years. So don't even go to that place. And also take care of your health. Your health is your wealth, because you invest so much your health to get the wealth and money. At the end, you have to spend your money to get your health back, which is counterproductive. So just have non-negotiable principles, philosophy to guide your life, that whatever philosophy you go, that is your alignment. Anything against that, don't do it. It's a waste of your time, resources, money, and your talent. So the principle, you need to go for a slogan, a theme of your life to follow, and things you should not do should be known by you. Because money can corrupt you, fame can corrupt you. So if you don't know who you are and who are you becoming, you will be lured and tempted with things that are immediate gratification, immediate pleasure, but then destroy your total life. You need to be wiser in selecting your choices by selecting a non-negotiable rule, what not to do, and what you should do to become who. You have to determine that. And that is your guidepost, which will guide you to make decisions and not to make big mistakes. You have to have a border of knowledge where you operate. Outside that is a no-no. Then you can be creative inside the border of truth, and then you don't make that big mistake that you will regret for a whole life. See, these are the things you should know, and always go for more advanced people. If you are the most advanced person in a group, the group is obsolete for you. You need to look for more advanced group again. Many people more advanced than you is better than if you are the most advanced in a group. You become just the tip of the triangle. You need to go to another place where you are one of the students again. Then you will always grow, because you will be hungry again. Without hunger, you do not eat. Without mental hunger, you are not determined and persistent. Without emotional hunger, you are not there to grab the opportunity when it comes. You have to develop motivation to be hungry again. If you already plateaued your performance, if you have succeeded and there's no more to go, you need to create a new motivation for you to be hungry again. So the willpower comes back, and then discipline comes in, and then you are the first to achieve your goals ahead of your colleagues and peers who are not hungry. So these are my advices, and keep on aligning, have a mentor, work intelligently hard, but have a good network, and have groups of people who will stimulate you to grow. So that's my advice to everyone. I have more advices, but I think I can say that we have covered many things for your questions, Angie. And I hope that people viewing this will benefit from this and even get back to you, call you to be able to answer a lot of other questions, such as what workshop is best for what kind of person. There are 8 types of human beings. So you have your own strengths and weaknesses, your opportunities and threats. You have the SWOT analysis. We do that also and see where are your next potential jumps and disruption, and where can you get stuck and plateau. And also, I have a book coming out called The Handbook of Self-Discipline. And this is a very important thesis which I've written, which I've done so long time ago, which I put in a book format. And I think it will be a very useful theme in the most challenging, complex time, because discipline, whether it's a good time or bad time, discipline is a must-have. Okay? So thank you for interviewing me, Angie, and hope that your clients and even the future listeners will benefit from this.
Thank you so much, Master. It was so rich interview, touching many, many things, even if you have much more. Anyway, people can connect with me and with us. And so thank you for viewing this so rich interview, and see you on the next time.
Good luck.
Namaskar, everyone. Thank you, Master, again.